Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my Christmas TBR or to be read list. These are personal books that I have not read that I am currently either in the middle of or working on reading before Christmas, which we're getting close to it. It's Christmas week, just about now. We're within a week of Christmas, and I'm super excited. So I wanted to share these with you in case you are looking for some last minute Christmas reads yourself, or if you have someone in your family who's really big on mysteries as well. These would be some really fun last minute gifts you could pick up at your local bookshop, or if you have, Amazon Prime or expedited shipping or something. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one. We might have already gotten into this one because it's by one of my favorite authors ever. So this is Rhys Bowen and her book God Rest Ye Royal Gentlemen. I finally got this from my library. I was on hold. I was the 14th person on the waiting list for this book, and I just got it. She comes out with one of these a year. It's part of her Royal Spyness mystery series. It's one of my absolute favorites ever. It's one of my favorite series just ever. So I kind of sat down and read it all in one sitting yesterday. The rest of these I have not finished reading or have not started, but this one I couldn't hold it. It's my favorite, okay? It's my favorite. But basically the premise is we have Georgie, who is like 35th or something in the line for the English royal throne. This book takes place in like the 1930s, so it is a historical fiction mystery novel. So if you like history and mystery, this is perfect for you. And basically throughout the series she's gone through where she's doing different odd jobs, because even though she's a royal, she doesn't really have the allowances and a lot of the money that a lot of her royal family members do, but she still has to live like a certain kind of lifestyle like she's expected to. So she takes on odd jobs, and she ends up actually working for the Queen in a couple of these, like kind of spying on other royals or looking after them. And in this book it's actually her first Christmas with her husband. She's very excited to host her own Christmas party at her and her husband's place. However, they get like a royal invitation, but really it's kind of a summons to go to her husband Darcy's aunt's house, who used to be a lady in waiting with the Queen, and it's kind of a not so covert invitation for Georgie to go and see the Queen, and she suspects she has some sort of like assignment. And basically there ends up being a slew of different mysterious accidents that a lot of people are starting to suspect maybe aren't accidents. And Georgie is on the case, and her husband Darcy also, it's never said explicitly what he does, but it's implied that he works maybe as a spy or for Scotland Yard or something along those lines. So he has some connections, and they kind of work on hunting down who did it. And it's a very fun themed cozy mystery. Absolutely really fun. Love the history behind it. It's very well researched. It is a little bit slower than some of these other books. Like, you don't hop right into the murder. It does take a lot of build up, but I personally think the build up is so well written. Rhys Bowen does a beautiful job of fleshing out the characters, so I personally really enjoy it, especially all the details about Christmas and how they celebrated back then. Super interesting. So definitely recommend checking that one out. I gave that 5 stars on Goodreads. So the next one we have is by a completely new author to me. I have not read anyone by her. Her name is Lauren Elliot, and she is a US Today bestselling author. This is Murder in the First Edition, a beyond the page bookstore mystery, which I love a bookish themed mystery or book in general, so I know a lot of you do as well. So this one sounded really good to me. This is Christmas themed. I mean, look at the cute cover. This little post-it's just covering up the name of my library, so please excuse that because it has my city on it. But basically the premise for this book is that we have our main character Addie, and she works in the bookshop, and she's getting really excited because there's going to be a Christmas charity auction, and she has this very old copy of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol that's going to be auctioned off, and she's very excited about this because she thinks it'll bring in a lot of money for the charity. And they actually estimate that the book is worth about 5 figures, so it's going to bring in a lot of money for the pediatric hospital, or like the wing of the hospital that's going to be for pediatrics that the charity is for. However, she has an unsuspected guest who is her late fiance's father, that they've always had a rocky relationship. He's never really been there. It sounds like there was a lot of messiness with there. I don't know all the backstory since I haven't read this series before, but it brings up a lot of sad memories for Addie. It sounds like her late fiance's father, Jonathan, is a bit of a ladies' man, and he ends up running off with Teresa, who is running the charity auction, and later on Teresa is found to be dead in her office. So Addie is automatically going, did her father, did her, almost father-in-law do this? What happened? Because she doesn't think very highly of him. It doesn't sound like he's a super nice person, but she goes on the case trying to figure out what happened, and also looking into what happened to the Christmas Carol, the valuable manuscript she found, because it's gone missing in the process. So it sounds like someone has both stolen the Christmas Carol and also murdered Teresa in the process. So Addie's on the case. This sounds really fun. I love that it's incorporating A Christmas Carol from Charles Dickens, because it's just such a quintessential Christmas classic that I personally love, and I love this cover. I love how it says a Dickens of a crime. I think that is adorable. I love all the punniness. So this looks like it'll be a really fun, cozy mystery read. I might start this one next. I'm pretty excited for it. Alright, next one is also by a completely new author to me. I've never read anything from her. I'm jumping in like several books into the series, so I don't have the backstory, but I did start reading this. I'm about 100 pages in, and it's a little over 300 pages, so I'm about a third of the way into the book. And this is called A Garland of Bones by Carolyn Haines, and this is part of the, I'm going to make sure I'm saying this correctly, it's part of the Sarah Booth Delaney mysteries. And this is, I mean, there's a huge list of books, so if you end up enjoying this book, which I'm loving this book so far, this is number 22 in the series, so there's going to be plenty for me to go back into. I really want to go back and actually read the first one because I'm really enjoying this. Isn't this adorable cover? Look at the caution tape wrapped around the tree and like the little cat and dog, and love it. Anyway, Sarah Booth is a delightful southern protagonist, and basically she goes on a Christmas holiday with her, I think it's her boyfriend. I don't think they're married as far as I can tell. I'm not remembering anything, but she goes on with her boyfriend and a couple of her friends and their partners to a Christmas holiday. They're having a lot of fun when there suddenly is a bunch of different mysterious accidents. Someone ends up dead or nearly killed in the process, and they're asked to take on a case because Sarah Booth and her best friend, I believe it's Tinky? Yeah, Tinky, have a detective agency. So they're like, so it is a cozy mystery. They are amateur sleuths, but they do run some kind of detective agency. I don't really have the back history on that, but it's really delightful. The writing is very charming. You can really picture everything like in the environment so well with the way the author crafts it. I've had a little bit of a hard time keeping up with all the different character names, but of course I'm jumping into book 22, so that's to be expected where I'm a little bit off. But this has been a really delightful Christmas read so far. It's a really easy read. I'm really enjoying it. It's just pleasant, it's entertaining, it's very holiday spirited, a lot of cute, heartwarming moments, so I'm really enjoying this. If you're looking for like a more light-hearted kind of Christmas read, I think this would be a nice one. Alright, and if you thought I was done with Rhys Bowen, who's one of my favorite authors, you would be wrong. So she has another series called the Molly Murphy series, which takes place in, I want to say it's like the very early 1900s, and Molly Murphy is an Irish immigrant to America, and this is called Away in a Manger. Again, I'm sorry, this is my library's name, so I'm just blocking it, but this is the cover, which is just delightful. This is again a historical fiction murder mystery, cozy mystery. It is cozy, nothing's graphic, but it's a little more serious in nature. I find her writing to be a little more serious than some of the more humorous cozy mysteries, but nothing dark or like graphic. It just has occasional, like occasional themes that are a little more serious, but nothing that would make it not cozy to me. It's more of an Agatha Christie style writing, in my opinion. I just love this cover. I can't get over the cover. It's gorgeous. So essentially, Molly Murphy, this is several books into the series, a good handful. I haven't read the entire series from start to finish. I need to figure out which ones I'm missing because I know I've jumped around quite a bit with what my library has. But basically this takes later on in the series, and Molly Murphy is married. She's looking forward to the holidays and spending time with her family. And essentially she's excited because she and her husband are celebrating with their first baby. They just had their first child. This is their first Christmas together as like a family unit. And also from one of the previous books, they've also taken in a 12-year-old girl who, under like a lot of sad circumstances, has no home, so they've taken her in as well. So they're looking forward to the holidays, and one day Molly Murphy is walking along the streets and she notices some children kind of begging and singing Christmas carols like for money basically, and so she gives one of the girls a quarter to try to help out, but she sees that one of the older boys takes it from her, and she kind of questions why that is. She finds out that the older boy is actually the brother of the girl, and that her sister, like the two children, have been abandoned by their mother. Like they were dropped off in America, but it seems like their parents are missing. So she goes on this quest to help them find out what happened to their mother. Did she meet, like foul play, like what happened, and just to help these children out because they're on the streets at Christmas time, and she wants to find help out with them. So I think I really have enjoyed the Molly Murphy series. I think it takes some really cool angles. It's a little more outside the box. I love the historical fiction aspect personally. I'm a huge history lover, so it's really interesting to read about the 1900s and New York City and America. Very, very different from, you know, today, of course, and so it's very interesting. I really think she does a very good job with this. I personally love the Royal Spyness series just a little bit more. The English royalty is super fun. So I love the theme of that one just a little bit more, but this one is also excellent, and I'm going to continue reading the series. So I'm looking forward to that, and we have 2 more books. Hang on here with me. Okay, so this one I found at a used bookstore last year, and I've been holding on to it to read near Christmas time. This is called We Wish You a Merry Murder by Valerie Woolsine. This actually came out in like 1991. It's a really old one. I didn't realize it until I picked it up, and I was looking at the price tag, and the original price is $4.50. And since most of these like paperback cozy mysteries are usually at least $7 to $8, I was like $4.50. I was like, wow, that, like, to have it printed on there, I was like, that's really inexpensive. What, you know, so I looked into the year, and it's 1991. I don't actually see if this is, I'm not actually sure if this is part of a series. It doesn't say in it, but basically the main premise is that we have our main character Kelly, who is, she's excited, she's living, you know, she's living her life, and she always knew that her ex-husband would suddenly show up and just kind of muck things up, you know, but she didn't expect it to be where she where her ex-husband ended up moving into a house behind her own house with his new bride. She didn't see that coming. That would be very awkward. No, I mean, would you even want to be that close to your ex? Like, I don't know. Especially if you ended it on poor terms like it sounds like they did. I wouldn't. But essentially, he ends up being murdered, and she, you know, is looking like a suspect. She's trying to figure out what happened, because I'm sure, you know, even if there was a lot of animosity with the end of the relationship, there's still feelings. You cared for this person at one point, and she probably wants to clear her own name and be like, I didn't do it just because he moved here. So she goes on this quest during the holidays where she's got her young teenagers, she's got her mother-in-law staying with her, she's got all these holiday craziness going on, and she's trying to solve her ex-husband's murder all in one go. So this is a pretty short, yeah, this is like 270 pages, so it's a little bit shorter. I'm looking forward to it. I've never read anything by this author. I just thought it looked really cute. I thought this is such a cute cover, right? I thought that was really fun. So that is our second to last book. And then our very last book, very excited for it. This is called Buried in the Stacks. It's a haunted library mystery. And this is actually book 3 in the haunted library mysteries. I have read the first 2 books. I really enjoyed it, and I was looking into checking out the 3rd book when I realized it's actually set in December around the holidays. It's not as overtly Christmas themed as some of these other ones are. As you can tell, you know, there's not like a bunch of Christmassy things on the cover, but it does take time during the December holiday season. And our protagonist, Carrie, I'm the worst about remembering their names. Like, I read the book, I could tell you all these other details, but I always forget the main character's name. It's really ironic. But so this book I'm particularly excited about because the idea behind the Haunted Library Mystery series is that in the past 2 books there's been a ghost named Evelyn who worked at the library, and she sometimes speaks to Carrie and helps her think out cases and things like that. So if you like a supernatural element, you might really enjoy this book. But basically, she's a librarian, and one day her coworker ends up falling in a supermarket and ends up in the hospital. And when she goes to visit her coworker, she accuses her husband of trying to kill her, and also says that the same husband was the one who killed Evelyn, who is the ghost at the library. So Carrie is immediately interested. She wants to get to the bottom of this for her coworker, and she's also really wrapped up in the case now because she's like, you know, she's gotten close to Evelyn throughout the stories that we've read with her, and she wants to get justice for her as well. And there's another murder that happens later on in the book, and Evelyn is trying to push Carrie, like, you need to find out what happened, and there's just a lot of drama with it. I'm really excited. I really want to know who did it and, like, who actually hurt Evelyn, because after reading the first 2 books of this, I do kind of have an attachment to her, and I think Carrie's a fun character. This is by Alison Brooke. I don't think I mentioned it. It's a little, sorry about the glare on that, but really cute book. I think this was a very well, like, crafted series so far from the first 2 I've read. I think the last one I read was called Death Overdue, and that was a Halloween themed one, which was really cute. So yeah, I'm excited for this. So that is my stack of Christmas TBRs. I have finished one of them and I'm about a third of the way through another. We'll see if I get through all of them. I'm the type of person who will read them through the very end of the year, and then January 1st I have to stop reading holiday books. So I'll finish them by the end of the year for sure. But if I don't get the chance, I do want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday, and I hope you will hit subscribe. I am coming out with some amazing content through this next year. I'm super excited to keep growing this channel, and I will actually have some New Year's recommendations coming up very soon. Between some amazing New Year's books if you're looking for like habit building books or like different kind of self-help books that are just have truly been life-changing for myself. I know that's a little outside of my normal topic, but they're very, very good. Like I wanted to put them together. And then I'm also going to be talking about a bunch of new releases in the mystery world that I'm so excited for. So if you love mysteries, I hope you'll hit subscribe. I don't think I said it, but my name is Amy Marie. My channel is totally focused on mystery content for the most part. So if you love mysteries and books, you're going to get along just fine here. So hit subscribe and leave me a comment down below. What Christmas books do you love? Do you have ones you reread every year? Did you have one you read already this year that you would recommend? And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!